Yeah, sure.
You should all have paper copies of this presentation as well to review.
There you go.
Okay, so councillors, first of all, Happy New Year. Welcome back. Congratulations for surviving the Hunger Games last year. And Mr. Murray, welcome to the Thunderdome. This presentation is an open data presentation on information we've scraped about these 11 Housing Now sites under the banner of housingnowto.com. I was on the planning review panel from 2015 to 2017, which was a public engagement process run by the city planner's office, which was representative of people from across the city. So it wasn't local neighborhood groups monopolizing the conversation. It was a representative group from across the city. In the 7 weeks since you announced these sites, we've gone to your open data site. We've also scraped stuff off your council site, your city planning site, the TTC, the Green Pea Parking, and the Eglinton Crosstown. We worked with folks at Map Your Property using the Evergreen calculator as well, and students from the Ryerson planning students. And we've created housingnowto.com. It's an interactive map. Which is public, it's global, anybody can use it. If you've got good high speed in here on your personal devices, you can interact with it. It's going to track the sites. We have photos from all the sites. We've visited all the sites. And we're going to track the progress of it. So there's the link. You can interact with it. We used Map Your Property to ask the questions, where is it and how is it zoned? So here's an example at 1250 Eglinton, which is a very interesting location. It's the intersection of $9 billion worth of transit infrastructure, and it's not particularly well zoned for the kind of density that is appropriate at that site. We also used the Evergreen Foundation's affordable housing calculator to work out, does it pencil and is it feasible on some of these sites. We came up with our own numbers. They don't match your city's numbers, so for the rest of the presentation, we're just going to use the city's numbers because I'm not going to argue about numbers. People have already mentioned that these units that you're creating are only really housing lottery units. You may create about 300 other units. What does a housing lottery look like? We've done a couple already in Regent Park this year, 962 for a one-bedroom, 114 for a two-bedroom, and a two-bedroom is running about 700 square feet. Mayor has said that he's vowing he won't waver on 40,000 over 12 years. We've only did 1,300 in 2017, I think about 1,500 in 2018. This is the math you need to be doing. You need to be doing about 3,300 per year. You need to be doing housing now every year. Lots of people coming. We've had the public notice in the past. There will be no miracles. Failure is not an option. You don't have a perfect set of tools. You have to make this fit into the hole made for this using nothing but this. There's some information here on Aquavista and Regent Park, what you've actually delivered. We've also got the grid, which is better than any of the charts that are in your staff report that talk about the actual units you're delivering on these sites, the kinds of densities that are required.
Thank you.
I'm not going to take any more time. My recommendations are at the back. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Any questions of the deputy? Councillor Ainsley?
Could you explain, sorry, Mr. Richardson, earlier in your presentation, you made a reference to data scraping and the Eglinton Crosstown site. Could you explain a bit about that?
So when we were putting the system together, we had pulled stuff from your open data site, but there isn't a lot of planning related data on your open data site. There's some zoning information, there's the ward boundaries for the new 25 wards, but in a lot of cases when we went to get into the Open Doors program, we had to go back and scrape data out of the TMIS, the clerk's system. We had to scrape site information out of the Eglinton Crosstown sites. We had to scrape information out of Create TO because your data is all in silos. Nobody's really consolidating it effectively. So we've done that task. On these 11 sites, we've consolidated this data. We've run it past smart people who are engaged in these processes, and we've come up with a free tool anybody in the city can use to interact with these sites and track the progress of these sites. Are you making your numbers? How fast are you keeping up with your calendar?
Okay. And then I believe we have a chart here that was distributed as well.
Yep.
I believe that's
And that's posted on our website and our Twitter handle. If anybody has any questions about specific sites, I'm happy to answer any of those questions.
Could you explain a little bit about, you have one column, so it's mostly in red, then there's another one, local NIMBY history, it's in red, yellow, and green?
Yeah, so the two columns, heights requested in rezoning of your 11 sites, Mr. Linton may be able to correct this, but right now there's only 2 sites that Create TO has actually started any process to rezone. So those are the 2 sites in Mr. Min Wong's ward, which are the Don Mills Crossing. You're looking to put almost half of your affordable housing units in there, or about a quarter, at really high densities. You're up to 52 floors. Site right next door to them went to the OMB, took almost 10 years, and they were only at 30 floors. The local NIMBY history reflects the reality. Some neighborhoods are more welcoming than others. So the 2 sites that we rate as the highest, not in my backyard sites, are in Councillor Cole's ward, Councillor Matlow's ward. They're in Forest Hill area. One is at the Eglinton Crosstown, where it meets the Vaughan Extension. And then the other one is at 140 Merton, which is just north of Mount Pleasant Cemetery. You guys made that a heritage site in 2017, a 2-story commercial building you designated as heritage. So you're putting roadblocks in front of yourself, which really makes no sense.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Let's see. Andrea Budgie?